Hey everyone, and welcome to a new coffee hour presentation. Thanks for being with us another week. I hope you're looking forward to the spring break. We can relax, we can take off a little of time and relax and recharge energies for continuing with the semester. Um, well, do you have any plans for this spring break? Any of here the audience or here on Zoom too? If you can mention us a little bit, so we can. It's kind of an icebreaker. So, do you have any plans for this spring break? No plan? Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Well, at least you can rest a little bit more, wake up a little bit later, so you can recharge energies. That's the good thing about the breaks. Um, okay. Also, relating with the spring break, we remind you that next week we aren't having a coffee hour presentation because it's the spring break. So yeah, we're gonna be resuming the next week. So not this Tuesday, the next after that one. Um, so yeah, Marcel is gonna be putting that in the chat so you can remind that too. And well, right now we are going to introduce our speaker of this week. So this week presenter is majoring in clinical rehabilitation and mental health. He's a graduate student, and right now she is a graduate intern in the international office. She is helping Jamie Jones because Jamie Jones from our international staff is on her maternity. So she is replacing her for that and helping with all the advising and all the duties that Jamie Jones is used to do. Um, she loves hiking. She has been doing this for more than 20 years. And yeah, let's welcome Claribelle. Thanks for being with us this week and for presenting about your personal journey from Philippines to Hong Kong. Let's welcome Claribelle.
Hi, everyone. My name is Claribelle, and most of my friends call me just Belle. I'm from the Philippines. My hesitation for doing this presentation in the beginning is just because I lived in the Philippines and then I moved to Hong Kong for work. So I have actually worked in and lived in Hong Kong for many years, more than I have lived in Hong Kong. I mean, in the Philippines. But Jamie Jones, as Mateo was introducing Jamie Jones is an advisor from the international office, and she suggested maybe I can do both. And that's what I'm doing today. So I guess this presentation, why it's Philippines meets Hong Kong. Okay. Okay, and so for this, for my presentation, I have it in 3 parts. The first part will be Philippines, and then the second one is Hong Kong, and also my personal journey. Most of the pictures I have here are my own pictures because I just love to take pictures. And also I have borrowed some from YouTube and the internet. So I guess I would say 90% of the pictures are mine. So I wonder if anyone here is from the Philippines or have been to the Philippines before? You did? Excellent, yes. Hopefully you can relate to the stories I have here. I want to show you a very short video. It's only for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And let's see, this is Drew.
Mabuhay from the Philippines! It's my 29th visit to my favorite country in the world, and today I'm at the beautiful Mayon volcano in Legazpi. You may only think I love the Philippines because my girlfriend Diana is from here, but I felt years before we felt love. Since my first trip here back in 2014, this Philippines is my favorite country on earth. It can be broken down into 5 categories. The people, the nature, the lifestyle, the affordability, and the fresh fruit.
Let's start with my people.
Filipinos are the absolute friendliest people in the world.
High five.
They're always smiling at you, asking how your day is, and the best part,
Everyone can speak fluent English.
which makes it easy to get around. I always feel welcomed in this country.
The nature.
Did you know that about 500 islands were recently revealed? So now the total island count in the Philippines is 7,641. My favorites are Siquijor, Siargao, and Palawan, but just about every island has views like this, and like this. And have I mentioned chocolate hills, waterfalls, and volcanoes?
The lifestyle.
Filipino time is an actual thing because nobody is ever in a hurry here. Everything is very relaxed, and if you need to get somewhere, jump in a jeepney or on a tricycle and just go with the flow. It's impossible to be bored here.
The affordability.
The Philippines is one of the cheapest countries in Southeast Asia. You can get a domestic flight for 20 bucks, a 1-hour massage for $4, and a fresh coconut for 20 cents. However, if you venture into Manila's Makati or Taguig districts, things can get pricey.
The fresh fruit.
The tropical weather with year-round sunshine and warm temperatures make a perfect climate for growing all kinds of fruit. My favorites are bananas, ube, watermelon, and mangoes. And the best dessert in the world is called halo-halo, shaved ice with mixed fruit and coconuts. These are just 5 of a million reasons why I love the Philippines so much and why I call this country my second home. If you ever find yourself in Southeast Asia, you need to make this the very first place on your list. I'm Drew Binsky, and if you like my travel videos, please click subscribe and join me as I plan to visit every country in the world.
Okay, I just want to show you where the Philippines is in the map. Actually, it's situated in Southeast Asia between South China Sea and the Pacific Ocean. And if you can see on the left, that's the Philippines here. There, it's Luzon is on the top, and then Visayas, and then Mindanao. And the Philippines, as Drew was saying, we have 7,641 islands. Well, I have mine wrong here. It's an archipelago, which means we have it's a cluster of islands, and the capital of the Philippines is in Metro Manila, which is in the Luzon, which is in the northern part. We have about 1.6 million Filipinos. That's a lot. And just to give you a little bit of history, we got our name from King Philip II because we were colonized by Spain in 1565, which is for 333 years. And then the United States colonized us for another 48 years. And then I think we were also colonized by Japan for another 5 years before we became an independent country. Filipinos, we have a lot of different dialects, also probably because of the clusters. We have all these islands, but the national language is Filipino and also English. So when you go to the Philippines, you would know it's very easy to get by just because our directions, our menu, the textbooks are all mostly in English. And we speak, our numbers are in English, and sometimes we use Spanish. But Filipino numbers, we seldom use the numbers, Filipino numbers. And so our dialects, most of the time, even our Filipino language, we borrow a lot from Spain. We call la mesa, which is table. And we mix it with Spanish and Chinese. We also borrow from Indonesia and Malay language. So our religion, because of being colonized by Spain for 300 years, most of the Filipinos are Catholic. And I think, as it says here, we are one of the Asian countries who are majority are Catholic. And we also have Protestants, Islam, Iglesia ni Cristo, which is Church of Christ, and some other Philippine churches. And so our country, we are so used to having different cultures. Even before the Spaniards came, the Chinese traders, they come to the Philippines. So we are so used to having a blended culture. We have Spanish, and then we also have the influence of the Americans and also from other Asian countries. So the Philippines is one of the world's disaster-prone countries. It's also because of our location. We have earthquakes, typhoons, volcanoes, active volcanoes everywhere, floods and droughts. Also, we have corruption. We have high corruption, poverty, high crime rate, and high unemployment rate. But Filipinos are very family oriented. We are very resilient. I think it's also because of how we have all these disasters in our country. We become very resilient and very adaptable. We are very hospitable. We like to take care of our guests, and we want to make sure that our guests are satisfied. So we always give them, we cook a lot for them, and we like to prepare good meals for our guests. We are hardworking and we are very hopeful. I think our being hopeful people are also coming from our religious background. So I want to show you a little bit of some pictures. This is in Subic Bay, US. It's a US naval base. Oh, you cannot see it there. The US naval base used to be one of the largest naval base in Asia. Nowadays closed, but now it's more of like recreation place. Okay, so this is Mount Mayon. It's a very beautiful volcano. It's an active volcano. It's known to be the world's most perfect volcanic cone. And when I went there in 2017, I think in 2018, they had an eruption as well. It's just a very beautiful place with a perfect cone. Taal volcano is another volcano that we have, which is one of the smallest, but it's very dangerous. And they had an eruption. It has an eruption in January 2020 during the COVID time. But Tagaytay is where Taal volcano is located. It's a beautiful town and it's highly elevated, so the weather is cooler and it's a nice place to relax. And it's only an hour and a half from Manila, so it's very easy to go there during the safe times. So I want to show you a little bit of our culture. We take pride in our family. So the first thing I do when I go back to the Philippines is I would visit the graveyard. It's just because we want to respect those who have passed away. And this is one of our traditions. So we like to do a little bit of prayer with our, just to say hello to them. And then we like to have family reunions. This time I visited my aunt and we celebrate our birthday normally almost at the same time. So I would come and visit her in Manila. And something that we do until today is we ask the blessings from our elderlies by touching their hand at the tip of the hand, and then we touch it on our forehead. This is how we show respect to our elders. And we do this until today. Most of them children will have to get the blessing from their the grandparents. When we are talking to elderlies, we have to say po. Like when you say good morning to an elder, it's a little bit disrespectful. We always have to write. So when we say good morning, we normally say good morning po. It's more of polite way. Or we say salamat instead of salamat, which is thank you. We say salamat po. So we always have to put po at the end. It's just to show being polite to the elders. And Filipinos celebrate Christmas from September until December. So don't be surprised when you go to the Philippines and you're in a cab or you hear in the radio around September and you hear Christmas songs. That's because the Filipinos are looking forward for Christmas. So we celebrate it for a long time. Parol, I want to show you this because I think I have seen some in America or sometimes in other countries where they hang this parol in the front of their house. And when you see this, definitely I'll have to say those who are living there are Filipinos, because this is a very nice, colorful lantern. And I used to have this also in Hong Kong. And it lasted for a very long time. It's made of shell, it's made of capis. And the others on the other side, those are more made of plastic. So it gets, I guess you can use it for a year, but not for a longer time. I just wanted to show you this because during the COVID, I didn't have time to spend with my family because everyone has to be, all the airports are closed. So this is the only time that we can get together using the internet. I mean, we are grateful for the Facebook and all those things. So yeah. Filipinos, we normally dress up in polka dots during the New Year. Just, I think it's more because for prosperity. And also we collect 12 round fruits. We have 12 fruits, it's just because it represents each month. And so we're hoping that we're gonna have a prosperous whole year. That's why we have 12 round fruits. We Filipinos like to dance and sing. We do a lot of karaoke, and we party with our family and friends a lot. We just like to have fun. So this is adobo. Have you tried adobo? Anyone has tried adobo? This is a very basic Filipino dish, which is very simple dish. It's just garlic, vinegar, soy sauce, crushed pepper, and bay leaf. But this one, I want to show it to you because it's very unique to each town. If you go to the Visayan area, which is more on the southern part, they serve it a little bit dry. But if you go to Luzon, it's more saucy, but it's the same, and the taste is similar. And some of them, they put it with potatoes. It's just because they want to, I guess, is more unique to each town, and that's why this is special. And palabok is also one that we copied, I guess, from the Chinese, the noodles, but it's very Filipino just because it's seafood based, and it's kind of hard to find it because it's hard to prepare it. But if you like seafood, it's more of a seafood flavor, and then they put squid, shrimps, lots of garlic, and pork chicharron. Have you heard of pork chicharron, right? It's a pork skin, and also smoked fish. They put it, so it's a very unique taste. Halo-halo, as Drew was showing it in the picture, this is something I must have when I go to the Philippines. It's very refreshing. So it's a mixture of sago, young coconut, leche flan or the egg custard. And then they put some ice cream and ube, which is yam pudding, and then evaporated milk, crushed ice. It seemed like when you describe it, it looks very rich, but it's actually just right. And this one, I must have it when I go home. And it's very refreshing because it's very hot in the Philippines. Yeah, so, but this one I must always have. Is there a way that we can find this? Here, I'm not sure. Maybe if you go to a Filipino restaurant, yeah. And of course, we have bananas. I think this is something that all households would have. We always have bananas in our table. And we have all different kinds of bananas. Yeah, and we also have banana pie, which is very, I think, unique in the Philippines too. I want to show you a little bit of our exotic fruits. We have a lot. If you love fruits, you should try our exotic fruits. The last at the very end, custard apple. This is more like a creamy, flaky taste, but it's very sweet. The seeds, there's a lot of seeds here, but then it's very slippery, so it's kind of easy to spit out. And roast apple is, it has a little bit of crunchiness of an apple, but it's lighter texture. And it's waxy outside, but it's very sweet and it's very refreshing. Balimbing is it's very high in vitamin C, supposed to be a superfruit, and the taste is kind of different because it's a little bit tart sweet and sour. So I haven't really said much about why I'm going to Hong Kong. It's just because as soon as I graduated college, I was recruited to be a flight attendant for Cathay Pacific. So I moved to Hong Kong and I lived there for many years. And Filipinos are they have worked outside the country. And this is something that I guess I should say we have 10.2 million Filipinos who work outside the Philippines. Also because we want to have a better life. As I mentioned, we have high unemployment rate, and also we want to provide for our family because as I mentioned earlier, we are very family oriented. So for others, we go outside the country just so we can provide for our families back home. And for others, they already have family members outside the country, I mean, in other places. They just want to follow them. So anyone here has been to Hong Kong? I want to show a little bit of Hong Kong. Oh, yeah. Can you just click that? Okay, so when I moved to Hong Kong, almost at the same time, my brother moved to Dubai for work, and my sister also moved to the US for work. And so we were all working outside the country. And when I was in Hong Kong, I got married at a very young age, and also I got divorced after 13 years. So I just want to give you that quick thing. And then, so Hong Kong is not a country. It's a special administrative region of the People's Republic of China. It was a British colony for 156 years. And in 1997, it was the United Kingdom returned Hong Kong to the Chinese sovereignty. And so you can see here, well, yeah, very quickly, I want to, oh, sorry. I want to show you in the map here. So from the Philippines to Hong Kong, that's about an hour and 50-minute flight. So it's a very quick one. And here you can see Hong Kong basically has about 3 parts. We have the Lantau Island, the outlying islands, Hong Kong side, and then Kowloon side. So there's about 482 million population, and the language is Cantonese. 88% are Cantonese speakers. They also have English, Mandarin, and other Chinese varieties. Religion is mostly Chinese folk religion. There are some also Buddhist, Taoist, also some Protestant, Catholics, Islams, Hindu, and Sikhism. So I like Hong Kong. It's very safe city, and it's very highly developed. And as I think Mateo said, I love to hike. And so for me, living in Hong Kong, I have explored the town a lot, and I've hiked around the city. And when you travel to Hong Kong, this is the most convenient way is to have an octopus card. It's just a card that you fill up with money. You just use your credit card. You can put 100, 200 Hong Kong dollars. And this octopus card, you can use it to take the train, the buses, the ferries. You can also use, buy food from the convenience store like 7-Eleven. Some chains like McDonald's, they accept it, and Starbucks. So you don't really have to exchange money all the time. And that's why Hong Kong is very, for the tourists, it's kind of easy to get by. We have this, Hong Kong tram is one of the oldest. It's also one of the greenest transportation. It's very quiet. And the double-decker bus, I like to take this when I'm traveling to outlying islands because you can see the view from the upper deck. And it's normally air-conditioned, so it's very convenient. Star Ferry, of course, you must ride the Star Ferry. So that's the Hong Kong side. And the other side here is Kowloon side. And the Star Ferry just goes back and forth that way. And it's one of the cheapest transportation. At the same time, when you get to Kowloon side, it's right in the center where you have the shopping malls, and the Space Museum is there, and the Symphony of Lights. MTR station, our train station, Hong Kong train station has, according to CNN, is one of the best designed, it's most very good operation, very good and very successful. It's also very efficient, it's very clean, and you can easily go to the outlying islands. You can basically go anywhere just by using the public transportation. And we have the longest covered outdoor escalator in the world. And this goes all the way up. This is all in Hong Kong side, which is in the financial district. And so you can imagine you're doing a lot of walking. So when you visit Hong Kong, you must have comfortable shoes. Victoria Peak, if you want to see Victoria Harbor, the best place to check it out is from Victoria Peak. And it's one of the famous attractions of Hong Kong. Hong Kong lifestyle. I have to say Hong Kong is very fast-paced, but at the same time, Hong Kong people, they value relaxation and having a healthy life. So they balance it with having all these parks around. This is the newest park, which was built right across the financial district. And in the afternoon, you see a lot of groups having yoga and bodybuilding or whatever. It's very interesting. And because of the low, almost every community has a park and has a playground. So even though they are working so hard, there's a lot of balance of being active as well. And most of the elderlies, they do Tai Chi. Tai Chi is their favorite pastime. So Hong Kong is 75% green. It's one of the greenest cities in the world. And you can see on the very left, that's a hike trail, which is right in the center of Kowloon City. It's very populated, it's very dense, but it's they have all built all these trails around. The big Buddha, where is it? I like going to the big Buddha. And going to Big Buddha, you can do it in several ways. You can take the cable, and you can take the bus, you can take a taxi, or you can hike it. And also when you hike it, there are different levels. You can hike it with an easy stroll, moderate, or an advanced one. And people go to the Big Buddha for many different reasons. They visit for just for taking pictures, but most people will go there just to go to the temples and to do some prayers. So it's a very sacred place. And for some locals, they go there to hike because it's a very there's a very different energy in the Big Buddha. I want to show you some of the fishing villages of Hong Kong. So this is Sai Kung, which is in Kowloon side. We have seafood. You can order seafood here, and these boats here, they will bring you to another island, and you can go to more private beaches. And Tai O is special for me. This one, they have they're famous for those house which is built on the stilts, the water stilts. So Chinese New Year is a big celebration for the Chinese people. This is the only time that they will go on vacation. And this is a highly anticipated holiday. Most businesses will be closed around this time. So if you're traveling to Hong Kong, make sure if you visit, just make sure that the shops are open. And this is the time where they meet up with their family. And so the Lychee packet is something that they give during the Chinese New Year. I'm not sure if you've seen that around. It's just a red packet. They put money in it, but the money is not as important. It's more of the giving. And so they would, for the Chinese people, if you're married or if you're a big boss, giving Lychee is a way of a blessing to you. So you give it to them to give blessing back to yourself, to the person. And for receiving the Lychee, you must receive it with 2 hands. And this I'm not sure if you've seen this before, where they use 2 hands to. This is more of a thank you. And they also, for female, you have to put the right over the left, and for male is the other way around. And you have to do more like bow a little bit, gently, and shaking it, more of just saying thank you or congratulations, wishing the other person Happy New Year as well. So this gesture, they use it for other occasions, but mostly also for the Chinese New Year. Dim sum and yamcha, for me, this is my favorite. Dim sum is actually small dishes, and yamcha is where people get together to eat small dishes. So basically, it's more of, and having tea. So it's more like for the Westerns, you have coffee and toast. For the Chinese, it's basically this one. And they have a very specific tradition when they're off. Most of the time, the family would get together to have a yamcha, and the elderlies will sit, and the younger generation will be serving the elderlies. And they serve them tea, and then they serve the food to them. And this is very interesting, where you the carts, they have the carts around with the food, and you just pick what you want from there. That's normally how it's done. But nowadays, there are not a lot of restaurants who would do that. They just give you a list so you can order what you want. But this one is more exciting. And at the same time, when you're being served tea, instead of saying thank you, they will just use their hand, the index finger and the middle finger, and just tap like this. So instead of saying thank you all the time, because for the Chinese, you must always refill the tea. When it's already half, the younger generation will refill it. And so instead of saying thank you, they just do this. So that's just their way of, so I think it's a very interesting culture. And a few do's and don'ts, because sometimes when you see so many tiny food, you think you can eat so much, but it's very filling. So you have to take your time, use your chopsticks to yourself, and learn the secret code of saying thank you, which is this. And then don't over order. You can always order anytime. And normally this is a brunch. So they start from 7:30 in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon. So I'm not sure if they stay there the whole day, the whole afternoon, but that's normally the time frame. I like this. This is the barbecue pork, Hong Kong style, or the char siu pork. It's very simple dish, which is just pork tenderloin. And then it's marinated in red beans, and then it's roasted. So it's just very simple dish and served normally with noodles or steamed rice and steamed vegetables. For me, it's a very good, my favorite comfort food. Egg tart is also something they serve in during when they're having yamcha. But egg tart is also a famous dessert among the Chinese, and this is very lightly sweetened egg custard with a very light, flaky pastry. So just a quick thing. For me as a flight attendant, I have really learned a lot, and I just want to show you a little bit of my own pictures. This one, so as a flight attendant, I've learned to become very resilient and adaptable. If I have company, I will really enjoy the company and spend time with my colleagues. So I've gone to other famous places with my crew. At other times, I will go on my own. I mean, if I'm in Rome and I'm by myself and some of my colleagues will be sleeping or doing their own things, I want to enjoy the place. So I will just go and explore it. And that's what I really enjoy. That one during the Christmas, who would want to fly on Christmas? Who would want to work on Christmas? And so we will always have this, our captain will give us gifts. So look at all our smiles. We were having so much fun for the Christmas. And then here at the end, this is just right after midnight. We came from New York and we arrived in Vancouver after midnight. And so my whole crew, we went to have a nice meal on a 24-hour Chinese restaurant. And that's what we would do to enjoy and have some fun. And also as a flight attendant, because I told you earlier, my brother works in Dubai and my sister was here. So I've met my brother many times, and then we have gone for desert safari. And then I visited my sister in Amsterdam when she was there. And then sometimes I hike with my brother here in LA. And at one time, my colleague joined me and she had so much fun. And this one in Vancouver, my son lives there. And my sister lives in Seattle, so she drove all the way. And so we had just a date together, which is, it's really good. At the same time, my sons, they live, one is in Vancouver, the other one is in Toronto. And so this is my last flight before I came here to US. So I met up with my son in Vancouver, and then the next month I met up with my other son in Toronto. And so for me, I realized that all those years, I have always kept my values as a Filipino. I always valued my family. I've become very resilient, adaptable, and very hopeful. When I lived in Hong Kong, I really cultivated my independence, and I valued my connection with people. So, yeah, on to a new path. What happened? I have another one. Oh, it's gone. Anyway, so when I was in 2017, I went back to school. I challenged myself. I was very scared, but I did my course. I did a master's in counseling, and then I was doing volunteer works for asylum seekers, and they're mostly teenagers, and I really enjoyed my time. And so I realized I cannot be a flight attendant forever, and I want to do something more, something that I really enjoy, and I really enjoy being connected to other people. And at the same time, I loved studying. I realized that I can still do it at my age, and I really enjoyed it. And so, yeah, and that's why I'm back in school. And why I'm here in the US is also because my sons, one is in Vancouver, the other one in Toronto, and I have family here. So I decided just to stay here, which is in the middle, and they can still see me. Yeah. So yes, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed that presentation. And
What did you study in? What did you study in Preston?
so I'm studying clinical rehabilitation and vocational counseling. Yeah, which is similar to what I did in Hong Kong. Yeah.
If you have any questions, can you raise your hand since we don't have the time?
So yeah, we are going to right now post the question so people in Zoom can open your microphones. We hear the audience is watching you, and people here in the library, just raise your hand, and we're gonna pass the microphone so everyone can hear. So, okay, thank you so much.
I noticed in the picture in Dubai with your brother and the way you were dressed. They are very particular how a woman dresses in Dubai.
Actually, not much in Dubai. In Saudi Arabia, yes, you must wear very conservative clothes. But in United Arab Emirates, no, yeah, they're okay.
Many years ago, I was there, and yes, they looked at like to have on clothes. Actually, but now it's becoming more international.
Yes, yes, yeah. But in some towns in Dubai, we don't have that much experience. I do remember some of our captains or our crew would wear shorts for the guys. They will be stopped in the mall. But for us, I guess because we were in the safari and it's hot, but I don't remember being stopped. That's a very good question. But yeah.
Any other questions on Zoom or here in the library?
Has to do with education. So they have kindergarten through sixth grade, how they do your schools.
In the Philippines?
In the Philippines or Hong Kong. Oh,
In the Philippines, it's different. In Hong Kong, I think it's more of the British. So they follow the British curriculum. But in the Philippines, it's grade 1 to 7, and then high school, and then college. In Hong Kong, I think it's until grade 12. Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
Regards to the education, I hear that more of them are trying to adapt to the American way of teaching the curriculum or the British way in different countries. Are you finding that?
In what do you mean, in here or?
Or different parts of the country, different countries? Philippines or any of your travels, have you noticed that?
I don't understand the question very much.
There's certain ways of teaching instruction, curriculum in the American schools and the British schools. And I'm hearing that some of the foreign countries are trying to adopt the United States way of teaching or the British way of instructing the students.
I wouldn't know much about that. Because when I was doing my studies in Hong Kong, it was an Australian school, and it was mostly an online course. And so basically, it's more of we have seminars every 4 months, and then we have to do most of all of the things. And when I got here in America, it's again, it's different. Yeah, but in the Philippines, when I was studying there, it's very much very traditional, more by the book and memorization. I like how here they have all this critical thinking and connecting the dots and all those things, which I really find it very useful.
Any other question? No? Okay. I think that should be all. Thank you, Belle.
Thank you, Belle.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate
Thank
you
you so much.
be able to present about 2 different countries. That's a special presentation for us. So we really appreciate those in Zoom. If you could open your cameras to take our traditional picture with our speaker. So Belle, if you do we have a hand? No. If you could put it, stay in the only me. Yeah. No, we could join you. Yeah. For those that wants to join us for the picture, you could be join us in the front. As long as, and you can see the majority of Zoom disappear when I say picture. It's optional. You don't want to do it? Sorry. All right. Thank you for joining us today. Reminder, next week, we're taking a break from coffee hours. Enjoy your spring break and see you the following week. A presentation about India. Bye. Thank you. Nice to see you all.